You're listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, the place to learn about new technology and technological advances before they become mainstream. This podcast is sponsored by Ingram Micro's Imagine Next. It's not about the destination. It's about going someplace you never thought possible. Go to imaginenext.ingrammicro.com to find out more. Let's get into it.
Welcome to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. I'm your host, Keri Roberts, and my guest today is Ashley Stachura. She is the Senior Manager of Channel Communities at Ingram Micro. Welcome, Ashley. Thanks for being here today.
Hi, Keri. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Now, Ingram Micro has a program called TrustX Alliance, and it started about 20 years ago. For those that are unsure of what it is, can you tell us what it is, who it's for, and how it's evolved over all of these years?
TrustX Alliance is a community first and foremost. It's Ingram Micro's premier partnering platform, and we're officially in our 22nd year as a community. It encompasses so many things. It's a community, like I stated. It's really a safe space for our customers to share their successes and their challenges as business owners with one another. And it's truly a place for our customers to partner with one another, also with Ingram and with our manufacturer partners.
One of the things that makes it so unique is that business owners in the same industry can come together without the competitive feelings to work together as a community. This is actually pretty uncommon. So how do you do this where it is so collaborative?
Yeah, it is a really unique business model, and certainly one that we always have to talk through with prospective partners. We really ask them to open up a little bit, open up their mind, and certainly to think about when they sit in front of their end client and their end client is requesting some work to be done outside of the scope of what that solution provider or managed service provider does as a specialty. And typically they would have to walk away from that business and, say to their end client, we don't service that. We don't have that particular technology within our scope. But with TrustX Alliance, they have the ability to find another member who does indeed do that work. And to the end client, it looks quite seamless because these partners now recognize that they can be stronger together and that they can keep their business in the family, if you will. So they're then able to go in, complete that work, and we really feel like that's the ideal solution and certainly a model that's worked really well over the last 22 years. And it does take really being open-minded and certainly acting with integrity and adhering to the ethics that we do, that we do have the members adhere to within the community. But it certainly has worked, and it's one of those you need to be in it to feel it, to understand it situations. But you can start small, and that's the greatest thing. The members can really start small by doing, little jobs here and there and partnering with one another to then going into the end clients together and proposing new business. And it's really amazing to witness, and we feel really fortunate to foster it on my team.
No, I like what you're saying. Everybody kind of, even though they're in the same industry, everybody does something a little differently. They have different specialties, but coming together, they're able to support one another in the areas that they're not strong in and do really well. Which brings me to a little bit more about who is part of this group, who's leading this group and shapes the community as a whole.
Yeah, we believe so much in the fact that this community is truly member-led, empowered by Ingram Micro. And what I mean by that is we actually have a governing body of members that run, that really lead the strategy for the community as a whole. Our council is how we refer to them. It's composed of 8 members from our different regions today. So that includes the US, the UK, and Canada. And then we do have 3 regional presidents that are really steering the ship. We also have the Ingram team very heavily involved, as well as some of our key manufacturers in our monthly, and we do also meet semi-annual to plan the strategy for the upcoming year, or sometimes just to take inventory of where we're at. Are we still, meeting the goals that we had set? Or are we still making progress towards goals that we had set for ourselves in the start of the year? We take member feedback into consideration. So the members themselves, they're really the ones that create the strategy, but then they also drive the execution of that strategy by participating in subcommittees. So we meet monthly, and then they go off and they meet as these smaller groups to really get work done. So it's not just an advisory council, it's a working council that really moves us forward and again has shaped the strategy over those, over the history of this community and certainly is the ones defining our future. So for 2020, just for example, our subcommittees are focused on our three priorities, which is engagement, expansion, and advancement of our community.
Now, with all these business owners that have been a part of this community for a while, what would you say are some of the top things that they've received in being a member of the TrustX Alliance and has made them continue to stay a part of this community?
It always comes back to the relationships that they form. So I would say new friends, new business partners who quickly become your personal friends is really what attracts people and certainly why people stay. That's the stickiness is one another. And again, I don't mean just the members. I mean also the relationships that they build with Ingram Micro and with our manufacturer partners. So it's really the stickiness of being together and certainly that then leads to new business opportunities that, again, like I mentioned, you might have to walk away from or had to walk away from in the past, but also new business that you didn't know was possible. And then the last piece I would say is really a head start in the competition or above your competition. We always are striving to find ways to bring our members new programs and resources that are going to move the needle for their strategy. We work really closely with them when we build out those services because we know that they are the leaders in the channel. And again, they're the ones that are really focused on the future. So we need to make sure to work closely with them and partner on how these programs are designed before we take them to the market for the rest of our solution providers at Ingram Micro. So we're constantly thinking of ways that we can involve them to not only help themselves, but to help the rest of the channel as well.
Yeah, we've talked on this show before about how Ingram Micro as a whole really does a great job in helping businesses get new business. And like you were saying, sometimes their particular business isn't able to take on the scale of something, even though they want to. And then Ingram and partners are able to help do that. So it's like a win-win situation. And I think that's a really great thing that Ingram does that you don't hear quite often.
Yeah, it is a really, again, I'll always just say everything with TrustX is so unique, but Ingram Micro as well. We're really conscious of how we design things because we know we have to design them with the partner in mind since they're going to be the ones that are leveraging those programs and services. And the best way to do that is to just bring them into the fold and let them be a part of it because that buy-in is going to be so important. And we certainly want it to work for them.
With things moving so fast in 2020 with COVID-19 happening, events are going to more digital. How has TrustX Alliance adapted to this current environment, especially keeping the community engaged and connected without this in-person interaction?
It's really been quite interesting because this community, as I mentioned, is really so focused on the relationships. And that's really what makes it so successful is access to one another. And our community has always been very focused on the in-person meeting, and we find so much value in that. So when COVID hit, we became concerned of how are we going to foster this great environment for our partners to connect with one another. And our team just started hosting TrustX Alliance global town hall meetings. And those sound really fancy when I say them out loud, but truly all they were and all they are a Microsoft Teams call. And what was amazing is how the members showed up. They were there to support one another. They were there to answer one another's questions regarding some of those very specific government programs that were rolled out. And then they were also so excited and so eager to share best practices for how do you keep your organizations engaged. So it wasn't so much that we had to worry about keeping our members engaged. They were there for one another. And I think that that's a testament to the bonds that they've built over the years and that they really do want to see one another succeed. And instead they could just pivot to being focused on how to help one another, how to help one another's organizations stay vibrant. And in place of our annual invitational, which we host each spring, we were able to pull together a really awesome experience throughout the month of June called TrustX Alliance Together. It featured some really poignant content for the times, just from not just the Ingram Micro team, but we also brought in some channel experts and our manufacturer partners and focused on strategies that are going to make them successful in what everyone seems to be calling the new normal, but really it's just our normal. This is just where we're at. So we wanted to make sure that we gave, again, our TrustX Alliance members that leg up and helped them get ahead and help them to figure out where to focus their efforts, their time, and their energy to certainly stay as strong as we know that they are. And again, it goes back to that, individually strong, collectively extraordinary. They really want to help one another, stay on top. So it was really unique to watch it fold out in that way. We do deeply miss seeing one another, and we look forward to the day that we're all back together again. But the bonds in this membership, they run deep. And it's also been fun because we get mini tours of one another's houses, and we got to actually meet some of these wonderful families we always hear about at our events via some of these town hall meetings and, one-off conversations with our virtual format. So it's really been unique.
And you had mentioned earlier that you're also seeing expansion to the global market, which is including Canada, the UK, Germany, and other places. How will that help and change the community, do you think?
Yeah, we are very focused on our expansion plans, and it's because we've seen the success. We know this model works, and we've seen it work not just, again, for the members themselves, but for the Ingram business and for the manufacturer partners that engage with us. It's going to give our current partners reach into markets that they haven't had before. A lot of them have international clients, and fulfillment can be rather challenging when they don't have an office centrally located in that area of the world. So again, it goes back to having that trusted fellow member out there in that region to help fulfill that deal. It's going to alleviate that stress. And then we find that it also leads to new business opportunities for those partners that do come together on an international business deal. So we're very focused on that because we, again, see the value in it. We know it's going to benefit our current members, and we want to bring the magic that is TrustX Alliance to these other regions. So we have our council actually talk to the prospective members, our prospective countries that we have on our list of countries that we wish to expand in. And it's really cool to witness the value conversation happen between the customers themselves. And that's really when we see the light bulbs go off. And we're very excited. We're certainly not slowing down. If anything, the impact of COVID has shown us how impactful that this can be for our members' companies. So we're more determined than ever to continue on that expansion effort that we've started.
Is this something also that vendors and resellers can be a part of? And if so, how do they, along with Ingram and the end user, kind of all work together to help one another and make the best decisions for the community?
Yeah, so whenever we talk about TrustX Alliance, we always talk about the 4 stakeholders. So the 4 stakeholders are our members, which is our reseller partners, right, of Ingram Micro, our manufacturer sponsors, the Ingram Micro team, and the end user. So those are the 4 different stakeholders. And our vision kind of ties back into this. So our vision is to be the most prestigious seal of approval sought in a business partner. And for us, that's going to take all 4 of those stakeholders. That's all going to be very critical to achieving that vision. So when I think about Ingram, I think about the members and the vendors. That piece is enablement. So we're all working together to enable success and to inspire one another to deliver excellence for the end user. So that's where they come into play. And for us to be that most prestigious seal sought in a business partner, the end user community needs to be aware of what TrustX Alliance is, and to know that when they work with a TrustX Alliance partner, they're really getting that seal of approval, that this is the experience that they can expect the right delivery from. And we're really focused on making that vision come to life with those 4 different stakeholders.
Now, when it comes to the TrustX Alliance, I'm just curious, what does it mean to Ingram Micro? Meaning, why is it such an important community for Ingram to have as part of everything that they do?
TrustX Alliance is really going, again, to define the future. And I think that that's really important to Ingram Micro because we so often leverage their voice as we plan for what's next in our landscape and certainly within our programs and services. We really at Ingram, we believe in the power of partnering, and we see them partner with one another, but we also know how meaningful it is when they partner with us. Ingram Micro continues to prove that they believe in this model so much so that, for example, in today's world, I lead a global team of really bright marketers and community managers that are fully dedicated to the success of this community. So I think that says a lot about how much it means to Ingram. And we're really together partnering to drive towards the vision of being universally regarded as the best way to deliver technology to the world. I see Trust X Alliance playing a really big role in that.
Now, we've been talking a lot about this Trust X Alliance community. For someone that wants to be a part of it, what does a member get being in it, and how can they join?
So we always like to, when we have a prospective partner conversation, we always like to remind them that what you put into Trust X Alliance is what you get out of it. We do have I like to say it's a choose your own adventure engagement model because everyone's journey is a little bit different, and where we meet them along the way on that journey is going to play into the custom experience that we will build for them as they enter the community. So our recruitment team is really focused on what is the organization's business model, but what are also their short-term and long-term goals. We want our members to see the investment they make into the community translate directly into a return on their profitability and also the accountability for achieving those goals. And a lot of that's going to come from the members' interactions together in these different engagement models, whether it be our affinity groups or our mastermind groups, but it's really about helping them achieve their goals because in that scenario, everyone wins. I would say if someone is listening to this right now and you're really interested in finding out more about Trust X Alliance, what it takes to become a member and certainly what that adventure that you're about to embark on looks like, I would definitely send an email to channelcommunities@ingrammicro.com. Or you can simply send me a LinkedIn message. I'll get you connected with somebody on my team. And even more so, we'll get you connected with somebody who's in the community today, who can tell you firsthand just how impactful this has been for their business and what Trust X Alliance means to them. Because we can talk about it all day. The Ingram team, will help you understand, but we really feel like the member conversation is where it hits home and where it becomes very real for that prospective partner who's about to join the community. So we would just say reach out and get started, ask lots of questions, and we're excited to hear from you.
One question we always ask on this show, Ashley, is where do you see technology going within the next year? But I'd like to ask you, in addition to that question, what does the future look like for the Trust X Alliance as technology changes?
I see a lot more career opportunities in our future. Technology is driving more jobs than we ever thought possible. And I often hear it, said in groups that AI and machine learning, they're being seen as threats today. But what I want to encourage everyone to think about is that those are designed to free up people's time so they can use their minds for more exciting things like innovation of technology and really the things that are going to move us forward. And I'm not going to lie, I'm also really excited for my future car to drive me around one day. So I'm so excited about all things technology, not just for the opportunities that they present us in our careers, but also for the personal side as well. Trust X Alliance members, I know I've talked a lot about it, but they're really embracing the future. They're also helping to lead it. One of my favorite quotes actually comes from one of our co-presidents out of the UK, Ben Gower. He said, "We need to define the future, not be dragged into it." I really love that mindset that he brought to the community because it really prevents that powerless feeling that this is all changing so fast. And, we certainly just need to figure out where it's going and then adhere to that. But the future is ours to define. And I think that TrustX Alliance is really focused on making sure that they're a part of that. And we're excited to do that with them together as Ingram and TrustX Alliance.
Yeah, I agree. I like that as well. Defining the future, not being dragged into it, staying ahead of things, creating it. Where can people learn more about what we talked about? You gave an email. People can connect on LinkedIn. Is there any other place, maybe on social media, that they could learn more about TrustX Alliance as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You can check us out. We do have a Facebook as well as a Twitter. Our handle is @IngramTrustX. We also have, through our Imagine Next site, through Ingram Micro, we do have a TrustX Alliance dedicated page. So we'll be sure to include those links to those various sites on the show notes, if that's okay.
Of course. Thank you so much, Ashley, for telling us about the TrustX Alliance. It's really exciting to see you all bringing people together, especially during 2020, and creating new and innovative ways to work together. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Keri. Thanks for having me and for letting me talk about TrustX Alliance. It's something that means so much to not just myself, but to Ingram Micro and certainly to our future. So thank you again.
If you like this episode or have a question, join the discussion on Twitter at Ingram TechSol with the hashtag B2B Tech Talk. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro.
You've been listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, hosted by Keri Roberts. This episode was sponsored by Ingram Micro's Imagine Next. B2B Tech Talk is a joint production with Sweetfish Media and Ingram Micro. Ingram Micro production handled by Laura Burton and Christine Fan. To not miss an episode, subscribe today on your favorite podcast platform.